It all began on July 30th, 1945, in the sleepy town of Ebensburg, Pennsylvania. A Monday's child, fair of face, Patricia Ann was born at Johnstown Mercy Hospital to Anna and Regis Rosensteel. While Anna kept the home fires burning, Regis mined coal for Bethlehem Steel. Residing at 219 South Caroline Street, the Rosensteel clan included Ed, nicknamed Wimp for his love of hamburgers, Fred, who always had the last word, and little Dickie, who died of pneumonia at the age of 4. Then a couple of years down the road came Patricia Ann, her brother, St. James, and little sister, Buckin Becky Rosensteel. Their neighborhood was a lively place, full of friends including next-door neighbors Ronnie, Joe, and Shirley Frank, as well as Jeannie Springer, Jimmy Miller, and Patricia's first boyfriend, Bucky Fott. They rode their sleds down Ogle Street and in the summer played at the local playground. Legend says that this very grate at the playground was installed after Patricia fell down the storm drain. Mr. Rogers says you can never go down the drain, but she did.
Is the infamous drain story. Pat crawled down the open drain sewer at the corner of Ogle Street and Caroline. She got down in and started to slip because it was about a 2-foot terracotta pipe, and she got scared. And what I remember was she pulled her knees up tight to wedge them into the pipe so she wouldn't slide any further. And then she started screaming for help. Some adult came down eventually, got her calmed down, got a hold of her arms, got her out of the pipe, probably a few scratches on her knees and feet. And shortly after that, the town was nice enough to come down and put a nice steel grate bars across it.
Oh my God, that is so askew. I crawled in there as a kid. I have the scar on my leg to prove it, and sister came after me, and she got me out, but I cut my leg. She was a hero.
They walked to school each day, uphill, both ways, in the snow, with no shoes. Patricia attended Holy Name Grade School, then Bishop Carroll High School. Patricia was a fair-haired dame, quite the looker with an eye for art, but her heart called her to the caring profession. She studied nursing at St. Francis University in Loretto, Pennsylvania, and at Johnstown Mercy Hospital. She then entered the Army, where she was stationed at Letterman General Hospital in San Francisco, California. It was there that Officer Rosensteel turned the head of enlisted man Alan Turske, who had recently removed himself from the seminary on account of celibacy vows. Apparently, he thought God said, "Celebrate." When, at a party, she excused herself from an eager suitor to sit on Turske's lap.
There was a group of students at this party, and there was somewhat of a heavy-set guy who was quite obnoxious and thought a lot of himself, I guess, and he was kind of bothering her. And, of course, we had all been drinking. She came up to me, and she says, "Turske, I'm with you." And, of course, it was to get rid of this guy that was bothering her. Well, to prove that she was with me, she sat down on my lap and started kissing me. And, all of a sudden, here I'm a guy who, I had a few girlfriends, but I just out of the seminary a year before. I thought, hey, this is all right.
Rosensteel walked right into Turske's fantasy of a tall, leggy, blonde nurse. A trap she'd never escape.
The next night, of course, and that's the famous date, where I showed up in, I believe it was a red jacket, an orange shirt, and powder blue pants. And, of course, she had dressed up for a date. But, of course, those clothes were the only clothes I owned, because when I went to the seminary, I gave away all my stuff, and then I came out of the seminary and went immediately into the service. And in the service, you have to send all your clothes home. But I had no choice. That's what I had to wear. But anyway, obviously she thought, really? What did I get myself into? I'm sure she thought, well, how do I get out of this? And I said, I'm going to marry you. I always said I would marry a blonde nurse, and you're a blonde nurse, so I'm going to marry you. I had some real good pickup lines. I'm not sure quite what on her mind, but I'm sure part of it was probably, I got to get rid of this guy as quick as possible. Of course, we did work together, so she couldn't not see me, as it were. And the truth is, I really don't know how she ever accepted another invitation for a date from me, but she did.
Young Turske had his charms. Patricia was smitten, and she prayed that her desires should increase following God's will, and increase it did. She resigned herself to a future without high heels. Patricia and Alan were wed on February 3rd, 1968. They were the last couple to be married at Holy Name Church in Ebensburg. But not this one. The old one that's since been torn down, but I'm sure that was a coincidence. The couple returned to California, where they live with their first son, Michael.
Hi Mom, happy birthday. Remember when I was your only child and it was just you and me and Dad? Those were some good times, huh? Okay, I love you. Happy birthday.
Holy cow. No, actually, she's not my real mother. She told me when I was 10 that I was brought in by the gypsies, and they said I wouldn't stop crying. So instead, they decided they were going to get rid of me, and so they left me on their doorstep. So I don't know who my real mother is, but my mother for most of my life took care of me.
Then the four Turskes moved to Pittsburgh. They lived at 2694 Philadelphia Avenue in Dormont, then to Carnegie at 7 Terrence Avenue, and then finally 814 Library Avenue. They were fruitful and multiplied. Patricia delivered 9 babies in 13 years.
Happy birthday, Mom.
I could sing my song that she gave to me. He walked into a bar and sat his lanky frame upon a tall bar stool. And he shouted to the waitress, I just have a glass of anything that's cool. And she said, hello, country bumpkin, fresh as frost out on the pumpkin. I've seen some sights and life's been something. Mama loves a country bumpkin.
Oh no, I just remember most of all that she used to get drunk a lot and throw her empty bottles at us when we were bad. Once, she burned me with a cigarette because I spilled her bottle of wine. That's all really. Just a lot of drunken stupors and crying a lot. It's mostly what I remember of my childhood. Then she hired a private detective to follow Dad around, but sadly it was really boring because he just went to work and came home. That was a waste of $20. Oh, and by the way, it wasn't a private detective, it was Mike. So, 15 minutes, huh?
Happy birthday, Mama. You're an awesome mom, and I'm so happy that I was blessed to have you in my life. Just everything that you've done for me and for my kids. I'm so appreciative. They told us to talk about a memory with you. How do you pick one? You're such an awesome person, and we've had so much fun over the years. I always remember our Christmases together, how you always make everything so special and perfect, and just for picking me up all the time when I fall down. I want to make this positive too. I'm told positive. So I just want you to know how much you're loved and how much you're appreciated. And every single one of us couldn't make it without you, Mom. Happy 70th.
Hey Mom, wanted to say happy 70th birthday to you. I want you to know that we love you and appreciate everything you've done for us over the years. For me, the probably most quintessential would be playing sports throughout all the years, particularly baseball and football. I know how much that hurt you at times and gave you consternation, but you were always there to support me, and I'm appreciative of that and love you, and thank you for being there to support me.
Well, first, I want you to know the shirt. A memory that comes to me, there's actually two when I think of Mom. First is when I was, I'm guessing, a teenager. Mom and I were fighting, and I said, you just don't love me. So Mom, you gave me this card. And it just says, daughter, this Christmas I want you to know what a special person I think you are. And you cut out a whole bunch of pictures showing me that you loved me. And you may not have known at the time, but it very much, obviously, is important to me. I still hold on to it dearly. And the other thing that sticks out in my mind about my mother is whenever I was pregnant, your answer was, well, it's not what I would have chosen for you, but you will do fine. And you always had that attitude when raising me, and it always meant a lot, that everything will be fine. That was one of the biggest influences that you passed on to me. And I love you. Happy birthday.
In August 2004, after a long illness, death took her seventh child, Lisa Marie, Lilybug, Butterfly, who is buried with Patricia's parents in Holy Name Cemetery in Ebensburg, Pennsylvania. That December, Alan was transferred to Northwest Savings Bank headquarters in Warren, Pennsylvania. So Alan and Patricia moved to 401 South State Street. As luck would have it, just down the street from Warren State Hospital, the same location that Patricia had attended when she was in nurses training before they'd met. When Alan retired, they returned to Carnegie, where they host holidays for 16, a lot of grandchildren. This year, 2015, Patricia is celebrating her 70th birthday with cake and ice cream and all of her children and grandchildren. Happy birthday, Patricia. Atta girl. Not bad for a dame. Not bad at all.